What about Blogger? How does it, it's a direct competitor. How does it compare in those states? Because it's been around a while, hasn't it?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it's the oldest of the bunch, and it is a property of Google. Google owns Blogger. So right there, you know it's going to be given a priority in search. And in fact, with an upcoming Penguin update by Google, there's speculation that Google will be placing a much bigger emphasis on blog posts from Blogger by integrating the Google Plus and Google Social Network into Blogger.
Okay, so that in itself is a very key point, which, obviously Tumblr can't tame, or any of the other blogs we talk about. Blogger is owned by Google. So that in itself is a major consideration. It means the SEO factor will be extraordinary. It means it'll integrate well with Google+, which is on the rise. It is quite literally the second most used site, second to Facebook.
Right.
It is.
That's
very,
right.
very active user base now on Google+. And Google owns Google+ and owns YouTube and it owns Blogger, so it looks after its own.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's one reason. But what about the functionality and how easy is it to use and how good are the graphics and how good are the analytics, and what do you think of it as a site to use from the sexiness factor?
Well, there are two strong points about Blogger. The first being, of course, the Blogger is owned by Google, and then Google protects and optimizes its properties for search. The other is the strong statistics. So whereas Tumblr wasn't strong in the analytics and statistics of the platform, Blogger is. And you can well imagine Google and Google Analytics and Google being the king of search engines would certainly know analytics and would build that into their own blogging platform like Blogger. You can take advantage of Blogger's search preferences features to make sure it's easier for those seeking your content to optimize your keywords for better search. So right there, built into that platform, you have the Blogger search preferences. The ability to optimize a post with keywords for search and track visitors on your site are some of Blogger's greatest strengths. And you can also add your blog to Blogger's listings. So as I said before, like Tumblr has its own Tumblr listings, Blogger has its own Blogger listings. And when you add your blog to their listing, it shows up in Nextblog and recently updated in other places. It's like opting in to traffic.
So that's a very key difference, this idea of SEO owned by Google, analytics very strong. What about usability and sexiness?
That would be a weakness. I think Blogger's dashboard or interface isn't as easy to work with as Tumblr's. However, it certainly isn't difficult either. It's just probably, I think we term it as a little clunky. Also, the customization isn't as flexible. So whereas on Tumblr, if you really know your CSS or HTML, you could go in there and customize every single aspect of the your Tumblr site. You have a lot of templates to choose from a design point of view using Blogger. So they have a lot of templates, but not as varied as Tumblr's, because as I said before, you can't alter the code.
Yeah. So there we have a very clear difference.
Yeah.
Tumblr looks great. It's easy to use. It's easy to customize, but it's not so good on the statting, on the analytics.
Right.
That might not be important, but if it is important, it's it's great that we're mentioning it. Blogger has great SEO because it's owned by Google. It's only going to get better because Google Plus is on the rise. It's a little bit clunky and it doesn't look as good, but the analytics are great.
Right.
So this is why this podcast that we're doing is so important, because we're pulling apart the major differences. Because you're not going to be able to have a blog on each site. You just won't be able to keep up. You've got to pick one, haven't you?
I think you really, to do effectively, that would definitely be my first strategy, is to find the platform that fits you as a user and then commit yourself to dressing up that blog site and then building the content on a regular basis. That's really the best way to approach it.
Yeah, because I can hear people saying, well, why don't I just have one of everything? I'll have a Tumblr account, I'll have a Blogger account, and the next one I want to talk about, which I actually got to hear about through you, Weebly.